guys, I am the Amanda Rogers and welcome back to my channel. Most of you know that for about a year now I've been pretty hooked on One Piece. I'm so sorry. Anyways, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made Crocodile's hook. I decided to make Crocodile's hook from One Piece. Not going to lie, I'm making this mostly out of spite because one of my friends said that it wasn't possible to make this and I'm going to. I went to the Dollar Tree today and I found these two baskets for $1.25 each. There's my basic shape that I'm going to use. So my idea here is to connect these baskets like this. I could either weld it really quickly with a spot weld. You could just use zip ties, tie it a couple times around to make sure they stay together. And then I'm going to use wire cutters to cut out one side of this so I can fit my hand through. And then I'll probably put foam or something around it so that I don't scratch myself when I put my arm in. I had one of these hooks in my garage. You can find one at any hardware store. I'm actually kind of thinking that I'll use this as a mold and then use hot glue to make a hook myself because I don't want this to be stabbing me in any way, shape, or form. But basically the idea is to put the hook kind of like here, and then I'm going to paper mache the whole thing and spray paint and be done. I do think I'll also put a strap on the inside of the top side so that I have something to hold on to when I'm wearing it. So like kind of a handle, if you will. Let's see how this goes.
And the first thing I needed to do was make my hook. So I used the hook that I had and I made an outline on this aluminum foil to get the basic shape that I wanted. And then I took my hot glue gun and the first thing I did was fill it all in with one layer, and then I went up with a couple of different layers, getting smaller and smaller so that it kind of came up to a point. Taking it off the aluminum foil was not so much fun, but I made two of them so that when I glued them together they would be kind of rounded all the way around. And the baskets, I just zip tied them together with 4 zip ties, and then I used my wire cutters to cut out the bottom so that I could fit my hand through. And then I just used an old shoelace that I had to make that handle. I did use E6000 at first, but then I did go through with a needle and thread to kind of secure it a little bit better. And then I used one of our old workout mats, which is basically EVA foam, and I used my basket to get an accurate size of it that I would need for the inside and the outside. This is basically just to make sure that I don't scratch myself when I put my hand in and out. And so I made this one, and then I made a duplicate of it. So I have the one on the inside and one on the outside, so I make sure that I'm not scratching myself. So I did scratch myself a couple of times putting that basket on my arm, which was not fun. And then so basically I just took my my foam piece and I lined it up on the inside. It was perfect size so that it actually stuck on the inside of the basket basically. And then I was going to do this exactly. I'm putting one on the inside and one on the outside. It added a little bit of length to it, not by much really, but having it secured enough so that it doesn't scratch me is definitely worth adding on some length to the shape. And then I just used hot glue and I glued it all down, and then I went through with twine to actually tie them all together throughout the basket, so that it would stay secure and keep them together, because I didn't want it to like come undone and then get lost in the basket at some point. And so it worked out perfectly though. And then with the inside pieces that I used them on the opposite side to give a little base for the hook. So I had 2 of them, so I basically did the same thing, and then I just cut a little slit with my x-acto knife on the one that was on the top, and then I shoved the hook piece into it, glued it around, and then I took my twine one more time and I secured it again. And the hook stayed perfectly where it needed to be. It did tilt a little bit, you know, because it was just kind of hanging out up there, but it worked out fine, I think. And then I broke out my Girl Scout skills. I did have to Google how to paper mache again. Don't tell my Girl Scout troop leader, aka my mom, but it's basically school glue and water. That's it. And then you use inch or inch and a half newspaper pieces. You can use regular paper, but I had so much newspaper around, so it worked out perfectly. And then basically you layer it on, layers and layers and layers of it. It was all very messy. I used gloves, obviously, and then I had cardboard down so to catch all the glue, but it was very, very messy. So if you're gonna do something like this for the first time in so long, remember that it is very messy, but it came out pretty cool. Like, I did a couple of layers for it. I dried them and then glued again and then dried and did one more layer, I think. So I did 3 total, but it got perfect, I think. And then I had it to dry it on the inside and the outside.
Right, it's kind of all dry. Since I didn't paper mache the bottom, I'm just gonna go ahead with masking tape and cover all of this up and like hold down this outline too, or this outer layer as well. Like, connect it all, you know, and secure it, and then I can do a base coat of white. And yeah,
I ended up doing the hook as well as the bottom, and I think it worked really well to give a more defined shape for that hook and also build it up to be a little bit thicker than just the paper mache. So this was it after the first layer of white paint. I just used white acrylic paint, and then I did a couple of layers. So I think this was after the second one. I think I just did 2. And I had to make sure to do it in stages to do the top and the bottoms. And then I did 2 coats of a yellow acrylic paint. This is obviously me doing the second coat because I didn't film the first coat. But yeah, I thought that since it's a gold hook, having a yellow base would be a good idea. After the yellow, or after the white, it turned out perfectly. And then painting it was pretty tedious, not gonna lie.
all right, so finally coming back to finish this guy. The yellow is not giving at all. I wanted to do the gold finish, obviously. I was going to get a gold spray paint, but you have to like call somebody over to get in everything. But I saw this guy. It's a metallic acrylic paint, and it's supposed to be bright gold, and the tester like thingy at the store looked pretty good, so we're gonna try this out.
And back to the tedious little painting. I ended up doing 2 coats of the gold again, and I did change the way that I was painting both of those times. So once I went sideways, and then the second one I think I went up and down, just to make sure that everything was coated, there would be no streaks. And I had to do the hook and the bottom of it obviously too, so pretty tedious again, but it was worth it in my opinion. I think it came out pretty good. This was it, not in the greatest lighting, but this was it all finished.
And this is how it turned out. I think it came out pretty well, especially because I spent like less than $10 on this thing. Honestly, no one else is fitting their hand in here. I have pretty tiny hands, so no one's gonna fit in this thing besides me. If you try your hand at making a crocodile's hook like I did, please let me know. I would love to see it. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll be sure to show you more of my cosplay crafts in the future. Alright guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Side note, I made this out of a toilet paper roll and a cotton ball and a wine cork.